A warm evening to everyone, and it's fabulous to be here. And I'm very excited to be, having a conversation. I wouldn't call it moderating. I don't want to call it as, a formal discussion here. But I think Praveena and I, when we were discussing, we said we'll have fun, and we will talk about writing. The topic for today is, wow, it's simple to be a writer. But that comes from a lady here who has done a PG diploma in social communications media from Sophia Polytechnic, Mumbai, and an MA in writing for performance and publication from the University of Leeds. As Ram mentioned earlier in his introduction, she's a journalist, she's an editor for some very famous publications, a lot of things. So words is the world for Praveena here. But Praveena, tell us a little bit about Lockdown Journal of Chennai, because I think that's probably where, we all kind of knew you from that. So would like to hear a little bit about Lockdown Journal and how that happened as part of your introduction.
Thank you, Soumya, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I'm feeling a little out of place. I've never attended a Rotary meeting before, so everything is very new for me. And it's like a whole other world. So thank you so much for inviting me for this session. As Soumya just mentioned, the Lockdown Journal Chennai was, I often call it my sanity project, because when the lockdown was announced in March, the first lockdown, my former boss, Vincent D'Souza, who runs Mylapore Times and who is one of the best journalists in the country, I would say, and very diligently has been running the neighborhood newspaper, Mylapore Times and Adyar Times, for over 30 years now. So he called and said, some friends of mine in Goa are doing this Lockdown Journal. Do you want to do one in Madras? I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So it was literally one of those, we didn't even think about what's going to happen, where it's going to lead us. But the basic idea was to capture the lockdown experience through fiction, through poetry, through essays, sort of like a counter for all the other news that we were used to at that time. And I think what sets the Lockdown Journal apart is that none of the stories are written in retrospect. It's not like I'm thinking about the lockdown now and then writing fiction and poetry, but it was right then as I was living through it. So on your way out, please do pick up a copy. It's outside. Abdullah is sitting there very patiently with the copies, because it's got about 30 plus writers, all of them from Madras, and incidentally, all of them women. And it's got a fabulous collection of poetry, fiction, photo essays, and non-fiction stories. So do pick up a copy.
Thanks, Praveena. Incidentally, I released my first book of short stories as well during the lockdown. But as we are going to have this conversation about writing, it doesn't make any sense to just talk about writing, right?
Absolutely.
So I think all of you guys got a notepad.
Did you get it? Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to do some
So
writing.
if you thought this was just going to be a conversation about us talking about writing and you all listening to it, no, sorry. Pick up your pens now and let's actually, make it work.
We've been rather clever with this, Soumya. Good job. Iranga, 1 second. Okay, so what's going to happen now is I'm going to play a piece of music, and I'm going to give you, well, you can listen to the piece of music. I'll give you that. And if for some of you want to start writing while you're listening to the music, that's fine. But the point is that whatever comes to you when you listen to the music, you write it down. It could be words, it could be sentences, it could be phrases. It doesn't matter. There are no rules. I listen to a piece of music, something comes to me, I write it down. Or I listen to a piece of music quietly, I stop the piece of music, I'll give you another minute, and you write whatever comes to your mind. That's it.
I'm completely overwhelmed by listening to it that I can't really write anything.
You
Good
won't
excuse,
be.
Ram.
Yeah.
Vetoed.
Okay. So first track, Anna. And Anna, just for 1 minute ku podunga avladhan. Okay. Okay. This is track number 1. So 1 more minute and you can quickly write whatever comes to your mind. Or make whatever you've written, add to it, remove stuff, doesn't matter. 1 minute.
President, நீங்க எழுதிருக்கீங்களா?
He has written something. That's good enough.
Yeah.
A word is also good enough. Just something.
I always follow President's footsteps. Hey, Baba, I always follow President's footsteps. Let me see what he has written.
Copy edukakudadu Praveena.
Called copy editing.
Ready for track number 2? Same exercise. Same 1 minute.
We are discussing and writing.
Doesn't matter. You can discuss.
That's next coming up.
Don't tell me. I'm going to exchange and I think I'm going to leave.
Okay? Now, before we go to the next track, here's what you're going to do. You're actually going to do what Radha Aunty just said. You're going to exchange. You're going to give your neighbor what you have written and take the other one from your neighbor.
Let's anonymize it. Let's just.
So just exchange.
Oh, you didn't write.
It's easy here.
What? He didn't write. He didn't write.
So you can
President,
exchange,
please
you can
note,
exchange
the
with
secretary hasn't written.
Yep.
It's twice over. It's exchange.
Has everyone exchanged? Everyone has a new piece of writing in your hand, which is not yours. Yes? Okay. So now, when you hear the third track, everyone has finished the excitement of reading each other's work. Radha Aunty is still excited.
Still deciphering the handwriting. Hang on.
Okay, has everyone deciphered the handwriting? Very important. Yeah? So now when I play the next track, you have a slightly extra exercise to do. It's not as simple as just listening and writing. Now you have a new piece of text here. Yeah, I have 2 pieces of writing. I'm going to hear the third track and I'm going to listen to the music and see whatever idea comes to me to bring these two together. I have 2 pieces of writing here. I'm going to listen to the music, and whatever idea I get, I have to use that idea to bring these two together. So 2 pieces of writing.
Now I'm going to write on my friend's neighbor's paper.
You're going to write, and yes, exactly. It has now become yours, Radha Aunty. It is yours. Yours is gone. It's gone to somebody else. Okay? So the 2 new pieces of writing that you have, you're going to make it a new one, but you're going to combine it listening to the 3rd track. So this time I would suggest just listen, and then when I give you the minute, you work on it. Yeah? Anything to avoid writing. Other track now. Exactly, because last time I cheated and I gave you only 45 seconds. Now I'm giving you a really 1 minute. And you bring it together. Okay, I'm really giving you 1 minute. I cheated last time. I gave you only 35, 40 seconds. Now it's real. 1 minute to make it happen. There's no right or wrong. You can make it happen however you want.
We write something descriptive, is it? Sorry.
You can write whatever you want. Anything, as long as it's connecting the two, that's all.
Part of the first part, there's nothing left to write.
Yes, notice board.
Okay, Soumya's phone says 1 minute is over.
Give us another 30 seconds. Come on.
No. Okay, that's all. Please stop.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to quickly hear a couple of responses. I'm just going to call out at random. The person who asked me, should it be descriptive writing? I don't know your name, but yes. Yeah, can you read out the 2 pieces that you got and what you did with the 3rd one? And can we give him the mic, please?
Shiva, we're going to see you read from them. Okay? Don't print it out now. Where the glasses? Yeah.
It says, the party of the first part shall hereinafter in this contract be known as the person. No, that was Papa Rao's paper. It says suspense and crime scene, to which I added a suspect is being followed by somebody.
Oh, nice. Very
fit well, it
nice.
fit
Very
well.
nice. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. You want to give it a shot?
Well, I mean, this is taking from where Soumya left. I was hesitant to take one more step. Creepy night it was, with long shadows walking as fast as me, and from behind me to actually come to the front. I trudged along and soon came across the conjunction of 4 streets with bright lights. The shadows were gone. It's a new day.
Wow, very nice. Okay. Let's hear one more.
Next one, Babu.
Okay, Babu.
TVS is going to sentence you now.
So I got the first two. The soldiers are marching forward to a battle in which they hope to bring glory to the nation. The second one reminded me of the first scene in Sound of Music. Mine is marching is rhythmic music too.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Very poetic. Yeah. So basically, the purpose of this exercise. Yeah, we can actually have 2 more. Who else wants to? Anyone wants to volunteer? Brave enough to volunteer?
Volunteer somebody else.
Yes.
She had written, Gayatri had written, marching towards the enemy in a war. It was yours? Haritas. Okay, Haritas. Marching towards the enemy in a war and motivating. It's symphony, cello, violin, sounds of all that. So then I have an uniform too, and so I have written, they have won the war and celebrating with a parade performance, which was led by symphony, cello, and a violin.
Very nice. That's a nice combination. Anyone else? The chattering 2 students.
The first word is war, sound of war, and the second one is peace. So what I had written is the sound of victory.
Oh, wow, that's like a haiku. Very nice. I was just hoping you are not going to say what I wrote is war and peace. Okay. So one of the things with this writing is it's fun, right? It was fun. It's exciting to listen to something and just write. Full freedom. You don't have to worry about no agendas. I didn't say write a short story. I didn't say write a poem. I didn't say write I don't know, a journalistic piece. There was no agenda. So anytime there is writing that comes with no agenda, it's fun. And anytime there's writing that comes with no agenda, everyone can do it. There is no distinction right now. All of you did it. Some of you wrote few words, some of you wrote sentences, some of you wrote paragraphs. It doesn't matter. It's just the point is that it always comes. And it comes because because I made you listen to something and I did not ask you to think about the sentence you're going to write. I did not tell you to think about the grammar of your sentence. I did not tell you think about the vocabulary. I didn't say give a descriptive passage or a narrative passage. None of that. No rules. So if I remove all of that away from it, if I remove all these perceptions that we have of what it means to write, and I give you the space and the freedom to do it, you are able to write, right? Even you were able to write. Even though everyone was saying you're not going to be writing, but he did. He's written quite a bit, I saw. Yeah? So what happens when I work with my senses, because music was working with my senses, I could have done the same thing with smell, I could have done the same thing with an image, I could have done it with the texture that you touch, it doesn't matter. But through the day, when I'm working, when I'm doing my work, I'm eating, I'm sleeping, I'm talking, I'm with my friends, with my family, through the day, my body is actually fully awake and storing a lot of things that my senses are acquiring. My sensory body is always awake. Whether I know it or not, whether I'm conscious of it or not, I am feeling the sun on my skin. I am feeling the AC on my skin right now. I may not be conscious and saying, unless it becomes very cold, I won't be conscious of it. I'm just feeling comfortable right now. I'm not actually hearing the hum of the speaker. If I really want to, I can, but I'm not hearing it. So my body is actually taking in a lot the whole day. And when I sit down to write like this, it comes up from there. So a lot of time when people say, I don't know where the idea came from, it actually just came from your own body. It was just there. It came at the moment when I pressed a button and played a music, and it came. Whatever was stored in your body came. And that is really what writing is all about. If I can constantly be in touch with who I am, if I can constantly be in touch with what my body is doing, then I can write. I can always write, and I will always have the words with me. So this exercise, which we did for like 3 minutes, or 1 minute that I gave you to write, and Sowmya was saying, no, you have to give us more time. I specifically did not want to give you more time, because if I gave you more time, then you will start intellectualizing what you have on paper. Then it will become, oh, should I make this narrative? Or, oh, should I make this descriptive? Should I make this sentence better? And can I refine it a little bit more? I didn't want that. That's another space altogether. And that you come to it much later. But I feel always when we look at writing, we always enter from there. All this has to be perfect, and only then I can write. Because of which I have no access to the space of writing at all. Because I'm stuck here. And so then we are constantly told, oh, your grammar is not good, you can't write. Your vocabulary is not good, you can't write. You don't have a sense of language, you can't write. What does it even mean to have a sense of language? We all are born with a sense of language. You can't separate me from language, whatever that language might be, whether it's Tamil, Telugu, English, Hindi, doesn't matter. But I already have the sense of language. So there is no way that somebody can tell me you don't have the sense of language. So if I leave this space and only enter here from another way, then it's possible, right? Everyone can write. It's not rocket science at all. What you've written was beautiful. Whatever you wrote was great. Who is to judge what is a good piece of writing and what is not? As long as it comes from a space of truth and honesty, it is a good piece of writing. So, sound of War and Peace. Good job.
I just want to add one thing here. I think a new habit that I sort of picked up in the last couple of months is to wake up and write 3 pages first thing in the morning, whatever comes to your mind, and I don't go back and read it again, and that's very cathartic. But you said, who's there to judge? But honestly, all of us here are very, very scared of being judged, right? I think we are our own worst critics. And if there is a big blocker in everyone's minds here about wanting to put something down on paper, you take your words out of your mind and actually put it on paper, the first thing that comes, oh my God, what will people think? Okay, and so how do you get over that? You can write for your own consumption, but how do you get over that and actually put yourself out there, put your words out there? Because like you said, your words are actually a very intimate part of who you are. It's you. But when you put it out there, the fear of being judged, how do you get over that?
Why do we need to put it out there? That's my question. Because we constantly, I feel like especially today in the world where we're surrounded by so much media, and also we are constantly surrounded by images, wherever we go, with the food we eat, we take a picture, we meet people, we take a picture. Radha Aunty and I took a picture right now. Everything is documented as something that is outside of me. I take a picture and that's immediately outside of me. I can see it, I can judge it, I can share it, I can like it, I can post it, I can do many things with it. But because of this, I feel also when I write, I'm constantly thinking, where am I going to put this out now, right? Should I put this on Facebook? Should I put it on Instagram? Should I put it on Twitter? Should I send it to my friend because, oh, what a clever line I came up with? Why do I even need, where is this need only coming from that I have to put it out there and then I'm going to be judged? Because writing is something very personal. As Sowmya just said, it is a very intimate space that you have with words. I don't need to put it out there at all. Even if I'm a writer by profession, I don't have to put out every piece of writing that I write. I have so much terrible writing in my laptop, but I don't have to put everything out there, right? And what I judge as terrible now, 2 years later, I might read it and think, wow, that's brilliant. Why did I not put it out there like long ago, right? So I feel like this whole question of being judged and not doing something because the fear is that I'm going to be judged, is also like how you don't come into writing from this side. It's the same thing. You don't enter the space thinking, oh my God, somebody's going to read it and it's going to be judged. Yeah? You don't have to do that. You write something. How do you get over that fear? I don't want to say you write for yourself, because I think that's also a myth and it's not true. You don't ever just write for yourself. You are also writing because the act of writing or the act of painting or the act of creating music is the hope that one person will read it. I wish, right? At least one person will read it. That is my wish. Now I can choose. I can write a book and my dream is that 10,000 people read it. But actually in my heart, I'm like, just one person, I hope they read it and they get what I was trying to say. That's it. If it can change one person's life, that's enough, even if I don't have the 10,000 readers. So in the same way, when I'm writing every day, when I can become friends with words and I can find that space where I'm not scared of what I'm writing, I'm not scared of being judged, then automatically I don't have the need only for who's going to say, somebody's going to say something and somebody's going to ignore or be belligerent with my work. They are not going to say good things about me. All of those things go away, because actually the space that I have with my words is my own and it is nobody else's. And nobody can take that away from me, right? So no matter what you say or you say or you say or you say what I've written, it's still mine. You can say what you want, but it's still mine. So if I can get to that space where I feel comfortable enough to be there, then you won't have the fear of being judged, is what I think.
That's a wonderful point. It's very, I would say, out there, you got to get to that level of maturity to say, yeah, let's write. But I think the point you're trying to make is write for yourself, because you have a lot to gain with developing this relationship with words. And I just want to dwell on that a little bit. Why do you think, especially in today's world where we don't have time for many of the things that we want to do, off late, I don't even get WhatsApp messages, I get voice recordings, because people don't have the time to write and type and send things back, or it's like a thumbs up and emojis and things like that. So the way you express yourself is kind of morphing quite a bit. So tell us actually, why do you think we should spend the time to put down our thoughts or even develop this relationship with words? I want to hear that, because in today's world especially, because things are just going so fast, why should we slow down and actually write?
I think especially in today's world, we need to slow down and write, because like you rightly said, everything is morphing. Even language is morphing, right? Now it's like LOL, ROFL, everything TTLY. Like half the things I don't even know what they mean, but it's just there in the lingo. Or they'll say, it's like they won't say that with the THAT, it'll be TAT. I'm like, it's just one more, just add that one letter. How hard is it? Just say that. But it is morphing, right? Language is morphing. And we want to say things quicker and quicker and quicker. But what we are losing out in this making things quicker, this world of instant gratification that we have, what we're actually losing out is, if I make it faster and faster and faster, then I have no space to think, right? If I go quickly, when you're watching a movie and there's action, you're not actually thinking. Then later you're like, hey, logic, what were they showing us and what was happening? But at that moment you're like, oh my God, because it's just action. There's no space to think. But later, when I have the space, I do think and say, oh, nothing made sense. But at that moment, I don't. When you watch Inception, you're just lost in it. But actually, it's not making any sense, right? You have no idea what's happening in that movie, but you're watching it. Because it's like one after the other, there's something or the other happening. So in the same way, if things are constantly, it's becoming faster and faster that I don't even have time to put one extra H over there and say TAT, then I'm not even giving myself the time and the space to think deeply about something. The danger of this is, anybody's opinion will become my opinion. Anybody's viewpoint will become my viewpoint. And that's what leads to herd mentality, right? Then I get something, I get a forward and I believe it. Because who has the time to think now? I have no time to put one extra H. So I'll say, okay, this came, I'm saying okay to this. So the more I do this, the danger is that you end up living in a world where finally only one narrative is going to come your way and you're all going to believe it. Because there's no time for me to think, oh, maybe it can be like this and maybe it can be like that. Because for me to say it can be like this, it means I have to do the work and I have to spend time on it and figure out why it can be like that. But the more I get lazy sitting in front of the screen and watching on Netflix. I'm not even reading a book anymore, right? It's like every Saturday, have a drink, watch Netflix and chill. That's the term. Because it just deadens me. I can become a vegetable and I'm just watching the screen and somebody's entertaining me, I don't have to do the work. But when I read a book, I have to do the work. I have to think, what is the character doing and where is the story going? What is the writer trying to say? But if I don't have that space to think, that space to dwell on something for some time, then I'm literally signing off my identity to somebody else. Like freely giving it. Take it.
That's actually a really powerful concept that you're putting forth. It's right to actually think and connect with your thoughts. And that's the reason to be a writer. And that's a very good point, right? Because when you talk about being a writer, I think we all have this image in our minds of person who's created novels and who sits there by the window and writes whole day and things like that. And I'm like, that's not me. What do I write? But I think when we were having a conversation, you said we actually write a lot during our day and we don't realize that we are constantly in the act of putting down words on paper, but we just don't realize it. So, tell us a little bit about how we could be a writer, still living our lives, usual lives, and how do we incorporate writing into our lives?
I think the first way or the easiest way is to get rid of this image we have of a writer. Because we all think a writer, like she said, even I used to think that my ideal life would be living in a cottage in England and,
Is that not what you do?
By the fireplace, by the fireplace, and I will be writing all day. Of course, I forgot that bills have to be paid. I forgot there are children in the picture. I forgot there's a house to run. I forgot there's a courier guy outside ringing my doorbell. I forgot everything, right? So we all have this image of, if I'm a writer, then this is my life. Like the ideal is that I'm doing this. And this image of a writer is also actually our colonial baggage, right? We have been taught this is what it means to be a writer because the language to write in English and this language that we have adopted was something that was brought in because of the colonial period. So a lot of the images we have of what a writer is belongs to that sort of baggage. We haven't let it go yet. Or the other extreme is that I have a Jolna bag. And if I'm a writer and a journalist, it's a Jolna peg, and you again think that I'll write with a pen and a paper. So there is that image of a writer as well. So because we've built this up as these images, we constantly feel I'll never live up to that. Yeah, and it's the same thing that advertising also does, right? They sell you something and then they ask you to aspire to it, and that's why we have so many problems with body image issues with teenage girls and young children, right? Men and women, all of them struggle with this because you've been sold a certain idea of what beauty is, and then you want to aspire to it, and then you do all kinds of crazy things to get there. In the same way, there is an image of a writer, and then you think, oh, if I do that, I'm a writer. And then you sort of cut all these layers, you put these walls and these boundaries for yourself, and you never get there. And so you tell yourself, okay, then I'm not going to be a writer and I'm not a writer. But actually in your everyday lives, like we also discussed, we are constantly in the act of writing. We are writing all the time. Even whether it's a WhatsApp message or whether it's a post on emails, we're constantly in the act of writing. At no point are you not writing. So by that definition, everyone is a writer anyway, right? We are figuring out ways of expressing ourselves through words. Even if it is poitavaram, P-O-I-T, we may say it in Tamil, but we are still writing in English, right? We are still using the Roman letters to write. But I am expressing. I'm expressing in different ways. I'm expressing now with emojis, I'm expressing now with memes, I'm expressing now with music, I'm expressing now the world of expression has opened up. And I'm using everything that's in my disposal. But what is it that makes it important for all of us to really just all of us to sort of set aside that little pocket of time in your life to say that now I'm going to sit and write. When I say I'm going to sit and write, I don't mean I'm in a cab and I'm sitting and writing, or I'm in the middle of 100 things and I'm sitting and writing. I just mean sitting quietly for just 5 minutes and write, whatever comes. You can look out the window, look at the bird, look at the tree, look at the traffic, whatever it is. Just for those 5 minutes, if you can sort of connect with where you are, what happened with you today, what is going, remove all of the frills around you and just sit for 5 minutes. Take anything that affects your senses. A candle with a smell, a flower, a sound, a piece of music like we just did, anything, it doesn't matter. But just 5 minutes. In fact, today we spent only 3 minutes writing. I gave you only 3 minutes. That much is enough. You're still able to do. You can do it in 3 minutes. It's not difficult at all. That's it. Just spend that much time and write with a little bit of sort of like a purpose in what you're writing. It's not these mindless texts and these mindless messages and memes and emojis that you're sending, but something where for a moment in my day, I can actually sit and allow the words to come to me and allow the words that are already living inside of me, but just let it come to me.
I think that's extremely insightful. Just allow the words to come, connect with yourself. Mindful writing, at least 5 minutes a day. I think these are key takeaways from the information that you had to share with us. Thank you so much, Praveena. I think it was exciting to be a part of this discussion here today. I'm sure everyone's going to take these notepads back home and fill it up. It's all, the rest of the pages have been left blank for your brilliance as per Crown Plaza. Please fill it up with your brilliance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.